Nancy and Jody for their extra effort that they shouldered in the absence of an executive. And so with that, here's Tom Toohill.
Well, thank you very much for everybody coming out on a night like this. This is quite a testament to how the people in this town react to the chamber, and it's just I think it's fantastic. First of all, actually, I want to see by a show of hands, and I want you to leave them up. How many people were not here at last year's dinner? How many are new? Wow. Can I leave them up for a sec? I want all the long-term dedicated chamber members to look around and see all these hands. You know what this means? There are this many people that have not heard my Irish joke. Now, I think if we take a majority vote, I think the hands probably won. Is that right? Well, actually, I plan on telling it. Julie told me because of the weather, we were on kind of time constraints tonight, and we had to cut out everything that wasn't interesting or essential. And to me, that meant Pat Doyle's speech, but I guess it turns out to be my Irish joke, so we're going to skip it tonight. Thank you. I told Jim I was a little nervous up here to speak tonight, and he gave me the old Brady Bunch adage, just look out in the audience and picture everybody in their underwear. Greg Bauman, that is not a pretty sight. But we have a great program planned for tonight. You guys are going to find out where we've been in the last year, where we're going, what our intentions are. And I know you guys walk out of here tonight, you're all going to feel proud to be a part of Fairfield. I know I have this last year. It just never ceases to amaze me, the dedication, the commitment we get from the citizens of this town. It's just absolutely fantastic, and I applaud everybody that's here tonight. You guys have done a fantastic job. Now comes the easy part. I get to give out the President's Award tonight, and the President's Award is something that has always been given to somebody who's helped me, or the current president, make it through the year. Somebody that I couldn't do without, somebody who has really stepped up and aided when I've needed help. There were a lot of people this year I could have given that to. We had quite a transition this year. I had to lean on a lot of people. Everybody stepped up. It was fantastic. But to give out the President's Award this year, I narrowed it down to 2 people. And there were a couple of people who have really, I think, gone beyond what was expected of them. Seeing how the chamber offices, the office of the chamber executive sat empty for a while. And I'd like to point out also, this is the first time, I think, ever in the history of the chamber we've had to put a search committee together twice in the same year. That was Craig's fault, I think, with FEDA. So I know the blame was put on me originally, but I'm pushing it off because I had the microphone, he doesn't. So, but the fact that the offices did sit empty for a while, and I don't think the chamber members noticed it that much. I think the transition has been real smooth. I think everything, boy, you know, I'm proud of the way everything was run this year. I don't have any regrets. I think everything has been fantastic, and I think it was real easy to pick out the recipients of the award this year. So, like I said, I have 2 awards to give this year. And for a couple people who really stepped up, went above and beyond, I'd like to call Nancy Morrissey. And Jody Conger. Thank you. All right, now the second part is I get to introduce our new, it says on the menu, or on the program, the new chamber president. Most of you know her as the upgrade. It's going to be an exciting year for the chamber. We have a new executive director. It's just, you're going to be amazed at what they're going to accomplish this year. I'd like to invite Julie Stevens up.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you all for making it out here this evening. I'm going to start with the President's Award to Tom. As we've already said, Tom had a challenging year this year with the hiring of 2 directors. Not many people have had to do that. But maybe some people don't know, Tom also has baby twins and a 5-year-old. He's also undergone a career change this year, and he's become self-employed. So there we go. This has been quite a challenging year for Tom. And I've never seen a bead of sweat on Tom's forehead. This is my lesson from Tom is no problem. He's really great to work with. He makes everybody feel important and welcome and just really part of the group, and he's a great problem solver, and he got a sign on the front of the building. Chamber has a sign now. But most importantly, Tom throws a great party, if you can get in. I was invited to an open house last Christmas from 5 to 10, and when I got there, the door was locked. We could hear the party going on in the basement. Everybody's laughing. We didn't know if it was the joke that they saw us coming up to the door, but I was determined to go in. So I went around to the basement window, and I was shouting in the window until finally somebody answered, and we got into the party, and it was a good party. He had good food and lots of cocktails. So if you ever get invited, hit a Tom Toohill and Janan party. Just thank you for your service this past year. It's a lot of work, I'm finding out. So I guess we have an award for you. Is it this? Oh, we passed the gavel. Aw, that's so cute.
Oh, it comes off.
Oh. I was thinking about all the people that are important to thank on a night like tonight, and I'm thinking of how there's so many organizations and volunteers putting in so much time for our community. And, it hit me, thank you guys, because you are the people that are creating the jobs and employment for the people of Fairfield to give us a chance to have great quality of life and prosperity, and there's really nothing more noble than what you guys provide for our community, and that really is the truth. The job that you guys provide for everybody. I would also like to, at this time, ask the chamber board members to stand as I call their name. It's a lot of meetings that they're attending for our community, and they all serve on committees and get all the traditional events to take place flawlessly and new ideas to become reality. And just so we can acknowledge all the efforts of the board members, I'm going to call them and ask them to stand. We'll hold our applause to the end, though. We have this year Chris Cabot serving as president-elect and vice president of membership. Tom Toohill is treasurer this year. Tammy Dunbar is vice president of community and leadership development. Patty Adam is vice president of economic development. Rosie Witherspoon is Vice President of Public Affairs. Pat Bloom is Vice President of Internal Affairs. We also have serving this year Joe Carr on the Board of Directors, Don Cummings, Brett Farrell, Jane Ann Harrell, and Sharon Kleinow. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. The 2 newest directors are Corey Larson and Terry Odell. Thank you. Got it off there. Another group that I feel needs special recognition because of all the many, many hours of service to our community is our welcome committee, the Ambassadors Club. I really appreciate how you're always there to greet us, and when it's easier to just hide in the back when we're at events, you guys are always right out there saying hello. And I know it's a lot of meetings, and it's a lot of being on time to scheduled appointments, and we really appreciate your efforts. And if you would stand as I call your name. The ambassadors include Tori Adam, Mel Allen, Sandra Klingon, Debbie Davis, Pat Doyle, Donna Henderson, Chris Cabot, Jody Kerr, Greg Lowenberg, Jean Lutke, Nancy Morrissey, Dave Neff, Jim Pedrick, Renee Rebling, Shannon Stump, and Sharon Workman. Thank you so much. So as I said, there's been a lot of additional meetings for myself. What added to it was the interviewing process this year. We've been interviewing some extremely well-qualified candidates for the executive director of the chamber and FEDA. And it was quite a privilege. I feel like I've had this huge whirlwind economics class, and it makes me so excited about what's going to happen in Fairfield because of the new director's experience and skills and enthusiasm. Brent Willett is our new executive director. He is joining us from Des Moines. He's been working at the state level in Iowa economic development, drawing businesses to Iowa, selling Iowa to people on the coast generally. And he's a University of Iowa graduate, was on the dean's list. Very impressive young man. He comes very highly recommended, and I'd like to let him come up here and say, so you can all see his face and so he can say hi. This is Brent Willett.
Good evening. Thank you for the introduction, Julie. I would first like to say thank you to everyone for being here. Someone in my position, coming into my position, couldn't be more pleased than to see a crowd like this with this kind of enthusiasm on not such a beautiful evening. As Julie said, I do come from the Iowa Department of Economic Development in Des Moines, where if I've learned nothing else, working in the glass walls of state government, as we like to call them, it's the importance of an open door. And so I would just like, if I could just impart anything upon you folks this evening, it's to consider our door at the chamber perpetually open and available. We want to hear about the successes, of course, but perhaps more importantly, your concerns, apprehensions, perhaps, and especially your ideas. In order for us to do our jobs effectively, information, I believe, is central to that mission. And I think it's my intent and desire to make this chamber work even harder for you folks, our valuable constituents, because frankly, we wouldn't even be here this evening without you folks. So I'm humbled and excited about this opportunity to contribute to this community, and dearly look forward to getting started next month. So thank you for having me.
Our next speaker is our illustrious mayor. Mayor Ed Malloy started in 2003 and immediately got us a new strategic plan, which has invigorated all the different organizations, and he's always an inspiration to hear speak, and we welcome Mayor Ed Malloy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Julie, for the opportunity to address this banquet. It's always a lot of fun to be here. It's a great opportunity to celebrate our community achievements, and frankly, most of them are celebrated here, so it's a great opportunity. Tom, I want to say congratulations to you on your year, and thank you again for your restraint on the Irish joke. Julie, I just want you to know that we're all very excited about your presidency, and you have our full support. And also, I'm so happy, Tom, you made the wisest choice of your tenure in recognizing both Nancy and Jody from the Chamber, because, yes, it was a difficult year, but what incredible accomplishments. And we never felt at the Chamber office that there was ever a beat that was skipped. And I wanted to also pay my special thanks to Nancy and Jody for all of the great work that they did. These are very exciting times in Fairfield. There are a lot of visible signs of our success. We see the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center rising up into our skyline now, and it's all very exciting. The construction schedule is well ahead. I was in the building last week, and it's just such an inspiration to see. The theater is going to be something extremely special, and really it's going to be just a short time before we're all enjoying that. Last year we had 15 tour buses that came to Fairfield. I would say that that's probably as many as we've had in the last 15 years. Very exciting to think that Fairfield really is becoming more than just an interesting curiosity, but a real destination, and we have a lot to build on there. Very excited also to welcome both Rustin Lippincott with the CVB and also Brent Willett with the Chamber and the Fairfield Economic Development Association. I think these two young men understand what kind of an opportunity they have in a community like Fairfield. They understand how special a community we are, and we welcome you, and we also offer you all of our support, and we have great faith in what you'll be able to accomplish for us. There's also a great validation of our progress that took place this year, and I guess I'm referring to the Great Places designation. A great sense of community pride, I think, that we can all share, because as Julie mentioned, most of what we were recognized for are projects that have all been conceived and are operated by volunteer boards, by very, very dedicated volunteer boards. And it doesn't matter to list them all, because you're all out there part of those. You know who you are, and you know how important all of those elements were to that. And that sense of pride that we have is also, it correlates into a sense of statewide respect and recognition for our city and where we're going. We are really taking a leadership role at this point, something that other communities are looking towards. 2 days ago, there was the annual Cultural Advocacy Days at the state capitol, which was an opportunity to lobby lawmakers about the importance of investing in arts and culture and programs like Great Places. I was up at that event, and I was joined by Holly Moore, who is president of the Art Walk Board. Holly and I were asked to participate in a panel of 3 cities that were all designated Great Places. One of them was Adams County, which is actually, the city was Corning. Adams County is 4,400 population. The city of Corning's 1,800. And it was fascinating to see what kind of commitment they had to their community, what kind of vision they've really built around a number of things. They took an empty building in their downtown, and with sweat equity and volunteer labor, they transformed it into a 2-story art studio. And they're thrilled about it, and they're drawing people from other places. And it's something that's driving more of their planning and inspiration. So even at that level, we see the success and the benefits of this type of activity in a community. And the other community we shared it with was Dubuque. Obviously, Dubuque has been the benefit of a lot of state dollars through the gambling revenue, being a river community. They've done a lot of work on their waterfront. They've have a lot of big new attractions there. But they also had an artist community that took an old warehouse and renovated the entire warehouse to be a home for working artists. And again, an immense sense of passion and pride for what they were doing. So the story that we told to everyone else, again, was an inspiration to all of the other cities in Iowa that are seeking to reinvent themselves in this way. And again, we are very fortunate to be ahead of the curve. What I thought I'd do tonight is, many of you have heard about a video that was made as part of our Great Places presentation. When we had a team of judges come and visit Fairfield back in October as the final leg of being selected as an Iowa Great Place, we thought, you know, we've got a lot to say about what we're doing, and a lot of these projects may be similar to what other communities are doing, whether it's in the arts or trails or those kinds of things, but we just think that there's a story that can be told about the joy of celebrating these things within the community, and we thought the only way to capture that would be to capture it in some sort of a video. So we contacted Hawthorne Direct, and they very quickly said that yes, they would be involved in this project. We contacted probably 10 very good photographers within the community and gathered photographs of a lot of the events and things, and they put it into a very, very nice presentation of this sense of enjoyment in our community, and again, to give a flavor of what it is that it is to celebrate these things. So it's about 6 minutes, and we'll play that for you now. We're hoping that the sound is good. We're going to be using the microphone to play through the computer speakers, so bear with us. This is something also that has gone through 2 edits. The first edit, which was put together very quickly, this latest version is something that Hawthorne has worked on over the last couple of months, and once we get all of the credits for the photographers and everyone that is in it, the music, things like that, it will be used as a promotional community piece that everyone will have access to. So please enjoy this, and again, thank you very much for the invitation tonight.
Incredible. Cultural is really what Fairfield is.
Quirky. Unique.
Peaceful. Glamorous. Absolutely wonderful. And don't tell anyone.
Everybody is very friendly, and it's is a great place to raise your kids.
Yeah, if you do it yourself, you're going to really everywhere. This is as good a place as any.
Fairfield, I love it.
Oh, j'adore Fairfield.
Fairfield, I love it.
I really love Fairfield, and I've lived here 91 years, and I believe I'll just continue to hang around.
Wow. Who wouldn't want to live here? Unless, of course, you lived in Dowds, but then it's hard to leave home. In past years, I've had a problem remembering to introduce people close to me. And Tom and I solved that problem this year. We left our wives at home. But Julie, do you have anyone you'd like to introduce? Okay. All right. All right. If you don't have your mother here to look out for you, you need to have a reminder once in a while. Okay, I guess that was all the joke I was going to tell. What's this?
You forgot to do that. Do they want to do that before you go on? Tom forgot.
Oh, Tom, you forgot something.
I did.
I thought I made a mistake, but I was wrong.
All right.
Did you have some retiring directors awards you wanted to give? Or Julie did? It is Bob Moore and Susan Booth. Maybe you don't want to recognize them. I don't.
Susan who?
I thought that was later on. At one time we had that later on in the program, sorry.
Okay.
Well, we are very sad to see Bob Moore and Susan Booth leave. It's so quiet now. We really, really are. You guys were, you were the life of the board, and you are so active, and thank God they're going to remain active as non-board members, because really, you can't have two more dedicated people to Fairfield than Susan and Bob. Thank you so much, and would you please come up and get your award?
Thanks again, guys. And next, we're going to hear from Dr. Craig Pearson from MUM.
Thank you very much. I was asked to give a little report on what's happening on the north edge of town, where things always seem to be humming. This year, our enrollment is hovering right around 900, which is a few hundred more than we had a couple of years ago. And once again, this year, we have students from 66 countries around the world. Half our students are from outside the United States. And those numbers are interesting, but more interesting to us are what appear to be longer-term trends. This past fall, we had 328 new students on our campus, which is 62% more new students than we had the previous year. And we're up 48% in terms of new students on our Fairfield campus than the previous year. And considering the increase in unique visits to our website, which is a year ago was 1 million and right now is about 2 million, we are looking at, we hope, the kind of enrollment growth that we've been desiring for a long time. Some of you may know that we have a collaboration with a university in China, the Capital University of Economics and Business, and establishing an educational collaboration in the People's Republic of China is not a trivial matter given the differences in culture and language and the laws there. But we have quite a successful program where students take their first 2 years of a business degree from this university and their final 2 years from MUM. So they're our students taking our courses from our faculty, getting our degrees. And our enrollment increased there 124% this past year, and we're looking at probably an increase of a few hundred this coming fall. And this year, we have our first 6 students who've opted to finish their degree here in Fairfield from the People's Republic of China. As you know, we've had hundreds of visitors to our campus from around the country and around the world these past 6 months. Many are deciding to come permanently. New construction, nobody can have failed to see our new student center being built right on Highway 1. This is a 50,000 square foot building. It's about a $7.5 million project, and we've raised about $3.5 million of that. It will be a LEED certified building, and when the weather gets warm, we'll invite all of you to come and see it. It's pretty impressive even in its stages of being constructed. Ground level will have recreation space for students. Middle level, there's a boardroom and a cafe and a lounge and bookstore and so forth. Upstairs is dining with verandas. The entire top floor will be for dining with beautiful views of really great distances to the north and the east. It's really spectacular up there at probably the highest point on the campus. We expect to have that open, we hope, for the beginning of the year next fall. And I want to mention also that the past couple of years, our students, particularly our business students and our sustainable living students, have been involved in consulting projects. So far, our students have done consulting projects for 5 Fairfield companies. These are mostly in the area of lean thinking, lean management, and helping companies understand and improve their organizational structures and processes and understand how they add value to their customers. And we currently have students doing sustainable projects for the city and for Vedic City and also for the county. And anyone who is interested in having such a consulting project from our students, please contact me because they're looking for things to do. Finally, I might mention something that we're excited about. Just yesterday, a scientific research study was published in the peer-reviewed journal called Ethnicity and Disease. This was conducted primarily by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania in collaboration with our scientists at our Center for Natural Medicine and Prevention. And they looked at patients who had congestive heart failure, which is, you know, is the end stage of all heart diseases. Just as all roads lead to Rome, all forms of heart disease eventually will lead to congestive heart failure, which claims 300,000 lives a year, and 500,000 new people are diagnosed with the disease. And despite advances in treatment, the death rate from this disease has increased steadily over the past decade. So the finding that will be published in this research, which we expect to get international and national publicity, is that the transcendental meditation technique has been found to be effective in bringing people back from the brink and reducing the severity of congestive heart failure. The treatments up until now have been drugs and defibrillators, which are expensive and invasive, and this is the first time a mind-body intervention had been found to have a significant effect on this deadly condition. So, just in closing, anybody who has any questions or comments or suggestions for us at the university, please feel free to email me, cpearson@mum.edu, and we just look forward to continue decades into the future working together with everybody here to continue building our collective prosperity and quality of life. Thank you for inviting me to speak.
Thank you, Dr. Pearson. You mentioned the first 2 years of college and the last 2 years, but what Pat Doyle was wondering about was the middle 2 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
And here from FEDA is Pat Doyle.
We went on we'll talk about your college career later, Tom. Right? You know, I don't remember past presidents of FEDA getting this kind of respect at all. I mean, what is this? Jeez. Welcome, everybody, for coming out. It is a miserable night out, and I did talk to Ross Walker before, and he said if it was too miserable to go home, everyone could stay for free here at the motel. So that's very nice of him. I'd like to start out by introducing my board of directors. And everyone, when I read your name, stand up, and we'll wait and clap when everyone's done. So our vice president is Pat Albrecht. The treasurer is Craig Foss. The board members are Joyce Huff, Dave Reef, Dick Smith, and Ross Walker. And then we have ex officio members, our mayor, Ed Malloy, our legal counsel, John Morrissey, and the chamber president-elect, Chris Cabot. And thank you all for serving on the board. "2006 for FEDA was definitely a year of many changes. We started the year out searching for someone to replace Bob Phipps, who was retiring after over 8 years as our executive vice president. I did talk to Bob just the other day. He called from down in the warm climates where he's at. He was asking about the ice storm we had last weekend, wanted to know if everyone had electricity, and he mentioned that he was just leaving to go play golf because it was in the 80s, so I take it Bob is enjoying retirement very well. We, after our search process earlier in the year, we hired Diane Gilmore, and I was very glad to hear that it was your fault, Tom, or Craig's, that she left and not mine, so thank you. Diane did leave after about 8 months to pursue a career move up for more money, I think is what their excuse was. So, and so then we did start another search process, which I was involved in that too, and maybe I was involved in Diane leaving, I don't know. But we were very lucky to hire Brent Willett, and I'm really looking forward to working with Brent in the future. I think we've got an excellent young man with a lot of energy, and that's good for us older people. We need someone young to lead the way, I think. Something else that was new last year was we did a membership drive for FEDA. And we had not done that ever in the history. Back when we first started over 25 years ago, they did an initial membership drive. And the people that joined then paid some money, were considered lifetime members. And we were lucky enough to not ever have to go back over the last 27 years and ask for more money from the members. But we're in the middle of a new business plan. And in the business plan, we need some incoming money every year to help fund some of the projects. So we decided to go back and change the membership classifications and ask everybody to pay annual dues. And luckily, Royce Huff volunteered to be the, well, volunteer is not the right word, but Royce Huff led the membership drive for us, and it was very successful, and we want to thank everybody that agreed to start paying dues when they haven't in the past. But there's always room for more, so if anybody here is not a member and would like to be, feel free to call us. During the year, we also helped several businesses that were in the middle of looking for some expansions, needed some money. We helped them get some loans that are available and help that. And we're also in the process, some others that will be expanding later on this year too, that we can talk about next year. Another change last year was Tom Thompson, who had been the board treasurer ever since the inception, I believe, of FEDA, so for over 25 years, decided that due to business he was just too busy and he had to resign from the board. And we'll greatly miss Tom because his expertise and knowledge was just invaluable over the years. And for me personally, the biggest change last year was Craig Foss ended his 3-year term as president and turned over the gavel. Well, we really don't have a gavel, do we, Craig? So anyway, you turned over the presidency to me. So thank you, Craig. I know over those 3 years you put in a lot of extra hours and a lot of extra time. These are all volunteer boards like the Chamber and FITA. So you take time away from your business to do this. And Craig, you were amazing, and thank you for all that effort. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and all the members of FEDA, I have a little plaque here for you if you'd like to come up here. Thank you. Thank you, Craig, again. In closing, I guess I'd like to say I look forward to 2007. I really look forward to working with Brent as a new executive for both the Chamber and FEDA. And also, I hope that we can continue to improve the economic growth and the economic outlook here in Fairfield. And everything we do, just like Julie mentioned, is thanks to all the people that are here. You people are all the backbone of the community, and thank you for all the time you put into. And if anyone want to serve on boards, volunteer boards, just let us know. I'm sure there's a place for you somewhere. But thank you.
Well, it seems like whenever you talk about the Convention and Visitors Bureau, all they talk about is heads and beds, heads and beds. They want to get more heads and beds. Well, I don't know if this counts or not, but I see some heads on tables in the back of the room there. So here is Dave Neff to introduce the Convention and Visitors Bureau program.
Thank you very much. The opportunity that we've had this last year is not quite a mirror image, but similar. We had a director for a couple years, and Lucy decided that an opportunity to move closer to her family in California was the way she wanted to go. So I'm going to do some highlights for you, and then we'll get a chance for you to meet our incoming director. Grants are one of the missions that we have to do, and in 2005, 2006, we were able to put out $6,300 to over 8 different projects. That's a multiplier that took it up to over $1,900 that put into visitor marketing for our community. Some of the recipients were the Art Life Society, First Friday Art Walk, Fairfield Area Chamber of Commerce, Society of Italian Americans, the folks that put on our June activity for the Art Walk, Fairfield Cultural Alliance, Live on the Square, and Sustainable Living Coalition. So it was a pretty broad-based grant opportunity that we were able to do with our funding this past year. The funding, as you're aware, comes from heads in the beds. People that come to Fairfield and spend the night in any of the hotels, motels, bed and breakfasts. from there. The funding continues to come in, and we've seen a growth of 20% over the previous year. Some of the achievements that we'd like to recognize for the last 2 years have been the First Friday Art Walk receiving a 2005 Tourism Event of the Year. 2006, the Jefferson County Fair. They said, where did all these people come from? And it's because marketing is taking place. We were the regional district leader as far as the Travel Federation of Iowa, and we had articles that appeared in the Iowan magazine, very well respected in the Iowa area. National magazine, Mother Earth News, one of the 12 best places to live that you never heard about. And the Des Moines magazine, DSM, this goes to the top 10% of the folks that live in the greater Des Moines, the Golden Circle area. And it was a very nice reception. We had good response from our members that were able to go up and kick this off. A lot of phone calls, a lot of people have come in to town because of this marketing effort. Visitor guides, I think probably most people have had a chance to see these items, and over 20,000 of them were distributed as visitors guides, and also the 6-month calendars. These are in the Iowa Welcome Centers, the Iowa State Fair, ad placements, when people check our websites, any phone inquiries, these go out to those folks, and so we're spreading the word throughout our area, but also throughout the Midwest. We had full-page color ads in the Eastern Iowa Visitors Guide, Central Iowa Tourism, and also the Iowa Travel Guide. With the Iowan Magazine article, we were able to do a co-op ad with Live on the Square and some other folks too, so it had some very good impact. The Iowa Bank travel clubs presented at 2 different presentations to them, was very well received, and those were a number of the bus tours that did come to town, and also the familiarization tour with the buses. Iowa State Fair was covered, maintained membership in the various national tourism groups. Our purpose, our mission is to promote the diverse events available to our city and to attract and create events that will inspire tourism and conventions and support the continued development of a rich cultural and thriving environment. As previous groups have been, I would like you to stand if you are here. Board of Directors, Bob Moore, if you're here, Dave Taboto, June Lowenberg, Tori Adam, Peggy Hoskins, Patty Hamilton, and our President, Michael Halley. I would like to extend a thanks to these folks. Our retiring board members, Brenda served 3 years with me on the board from its inception, and she and I are wrapping up, and David Du Bois was also another member who is finished up on this. So we want to thank them. I'd like our incoming president, Michael, to come up. I don't have a gavel for you, but one thing that you might know is we like to start at 12 and finish at 1, so I'd like to give you a stopwatch so you can follow up on that.
Thank you, Michael. Can we give a round of applause to Dave Neff? He's a man. A man who does so much for this community and asks so little. I think he keeps talking of retiring, of stepping down from his role as a volunteer, but I don't think he can do it. I think it's in his blood. Maybe you should give Ed a run for his money. Mayor Neff, what do you think? No? Hey. So I think Dave covered pretty much everything that we've been up to in the past at the CVB. I'll tell you a little bit about our new hire. His name is Rustin Lippincott. I'd like to ask him to stand and give a little wave. I promised I'd let him off the hook tonight and wouldn't make him speak, so there you go. We met with about 8 different possible new hires, and took a lot of people out to dinner. There was a lot of food from Vivo's, a lot of desserts, but it was a tough process. There were a lot of people who could have taken the CVB in a multiple of directions, but Rustin was the one who, more than anyone else, proved to us that he had what it takes to to build from the level that we were left with when Lucy left, and expand in all the areas that we'd already covered, more than just bus tours, but expanding on all the great events in town. And I think he's really done a great job in his first 4 weeks of branching out and meeting everyone, because I don't know how many of you attended a workshop at the library a few weeks ago, an asset mapping workshop, but the basic concept is that if you list all the assets in our community, you can begin to make connections between them and build upon these connections. And I think Rustin is going to be doing that for us. So keep your eye on this guy. He's a real mover and shaker, and we're really glad to have him. So welcome, Rustin.
If Dave Neff retired from volunteering, they probably wouldn't know what to do with him at the bank all that time. You know, as a master of ceremonies, all you really have time for is just little one-liners, you slip in here. So I kind of wanted to pay a little tribute to one of the great one-liner comedians, Phyllis Diller. I read recently she donated her entire collection of one-liners to the Smithsonian, so they're in the museum there. And of course we all remember, well Rustin and, they don't, Phyllis Diller probably had 3 face jobs before they were born. But anyway, you remember the endearing term that she had for her husband, Fang. Well, Fang was not the most successful man in life, and in fact she said that his finest hour was really only 20 minutes. Well, she claimed that one flopped when she told it, but I guess that's not bad, not bad. Well, now, who's next? Now we really get into the meat of the awards here. These are the Academy Awards, the Community and Business Improvement Awards, and the Fairfield Entrepreneurs Association Awards, and then the one that's really the big surprise is the Outstanding Citizens. So we're just going to kind of handle all those in a block, and Tammy Dunbar and Rosie Witherspoon will come up and read to you for a while. While they're coming up, I'll make an announcement. Remember afterwards, all you awards recipients, to get your pictures taken. Who's first?
Thank you.
You want it on here?
Should we, what do you want? I'm Rosie, and this is Tammy. Hi. And we would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of our businesses who have been selected to receive the Business Improvement Awards for 2006. Each one of you is very appreciated, and your efforts mean a great deal to every single one of us in the community. And Tammy, do you have anything to say?
Of course. Always. I think that when they chose us as a great place in Iowa, one of the criterion they didn't take into consideration was the humbleness of our business owners. It was quite a process for us to put together this list because you didn't nominate yourselves. We had to go find you. So I think that that says a lot about our community, and that our business owners don't take everything for granted. Right? So when we start talking about your business, if you would please come forward. That way, if you're clear in the back, we're not waiting for you. And we'll hold our applause to the end of the announcements. So if you want to read along with us in the program, and we'll try to cut this down to 3 hours. Our first recipient is Adelphas, and accepting on their behalf is Norman and Dorian Atwood. If you notice the red door on South Main, they took the exterior of an old porch and they removed that, put a new one. They built brick steps, wrought iron railings, as well as the red door. Shutters were added and an awning. Sidewalks were completely redone, thanks to Mayor Malloy. I'm just kidding. They're going to add some more landscaping this summer. On the interior, the downstairs was gutted. The house was leveled up as much as they could do it, and the studs were replaced. And my husband would say that we helped pay for part of that.
Our next recipient is Century 21 Hayes-Heartland Real Estate. And Terry and Sally Hayes, well, Patty Hamilton, will be coming to receive this award. Century 21 Hayes-Heartland represents the carefully thought-out merger of two of Fairfield's strongest real estate companies, Century 21 Hayes and Heartland Real Estate. Their 15 licensed professionals are ready to serve you, and they are located in the beautifully repainted former Brown's Pharmacy building, located on the southwest corner of the square. And we all feel very welcome when we come into your business. I always feel very welcome, and we congratulate you.
And if you walk across the square, no, I'm just kidding. Next is the Chocolate Cafe, and accepting on their behalf is Mario and Cindy Van Dyke. I meant to the chocolate factory. They have high-quality European chocolates, and they ensure their freshness by making sure that they're rotated every couple of weeks. They have locally made jewelry, and Cindy's been making her cheesecake and brownies. You can make those made to order or pre for such an occasion like this. They have hot chocolate, teas, organic coffees, and they're also open on Sundays. It was remodeled in 2006, and it sits on the east side of the square. They have new flooring with ceramic tile, and it's pretty cool if you go in there. Counter space, more. One office is currently dedicated for rent to budding entrepreneurs. They've noticed an increase in customer traffic on this side of the square, and they're helping to make Fairfield a destination town by including Oskaloosa, Ottumwa, and Eldon visitors.
Our next business award recipient is the Dexter Foundry, and Darren Spearman and I believe Tom Jones will be receiving this award. So if you want to come up here. In 2006, the Dexter Foundry made dramatic improvements in their facilities and grounds along 9th and Depot Streets. And as the saying goes, a picture says 1,000 words, and these pictures speak volumes. The sidewalks and the fencing were upgraded. The front facade of the building was sided and painted. The shipping docks were spiffed up, and the used drum storage area was removed. Landscaping and a new employee break room. Thank you for making such valuable visual improvements. It is a pleasure for all of us to drive by and notice this. Thank you.
Next, we have the Edward Jones Investments, and Chris Cabot will come up and accept his award. I'll just read what he wrote. Opening my own location, a part of the firm's business model, allows me a very comfortable environment to serve the investments and planning needs of my clients. The building was renovated to include a private office and reception area with new carpet, lighting, window treatments, and paint, along with a host of technology that brings it all together. Your President-elect, Chris Cabot.
And now we have HCM Plastics. And Jim Hammis will be coming up to receive the award. HCM originated as a rural home-based company in 1996. Because of the continued growth in custom molding, HCM Plastic moved into a new building in May 2006, located at 1992 Kelp Street. This building was custom designed for the unique machines used for the industry and has 3 times the square footage of the old building, as well as great shipping and loading docks. The new facility leaves room for further expansion and lends itself to cost-effective assembly as the parts come off the injection molding machines. HCM continues to be one of Fairfield's true family-run businesses, and we congratulate you on your success.
Next is the Hideaway, and Kathleen Kessel and Kirk Cotton will come forward. I think getting it ready, it sounds like it was quite a time-consuming effort. They had to research and purchase the needed equipment and supplies, remove the interior walls of the building, reroute their plumbing and electrical system, and the construction of the actual bar area, painting of the entire interior, and covering the floor with industrial coating and texture. On the outside, gutters and downspouts were replaced, trees were trimmed, the alleyways cleaned up, and an addition of an east door. And I heard that Dave Neff asked if his office could be moved down to the other Iowa State building.
And now we have Hy-Vee Drugstore. Jason Bishop and Scott Morgan will come and receive the award. In addition to a new name, Hy-Vee Drugstore has a brand new face to go with it. There are new arches above the front door, new signs, and a completely repainted exterior. And the changes don't stop there. On the inside, the wine and spirit department has new fixtures, the health and beauty departments were expanded, and many, many more grocery items have been added, making it a real neighborhood stop and shop place. And for the employees, there's a new break room and a remodeled back room. All in all, $120,000 of improvements have been made this year. Congratulations.
Next, we have Iowa Toole. Adam Stafford and Jim Sammons will accept the award on their behalf. I guess horses weren't enough for Warren Wexler. He's been thinking about those for over 10 years. In the summer of 2006, he purchased the Harwood Trucking Building out on West Burlington. And for the next 4 months, his dedicated team of Dave Miners, Adam Stafford, and Jim Sammons, along with several local contractors, transformed the building to become Iowa Toole, Inc. Do you still have any generators left? We might need them.
Our next recipient, unfortunately, was not able to come this evening. It's Jean Spalla from Just Right Sandwich Shop. When Jean's husband bought the building adjacent to the site of the Just Right Sandwich Shop, he said to his wife, "I'm not sure what we'll do with the garage." Jean knew, and my pages are not in order. And she replied, "I know." And her dream of having a sandwich shop in downtown Fairfield finally had a home. The family did all of the remodeling work, including all of the ceilings, walls, and floors, the painting, and a clean new kitchen. It is a warm, cozy, and welcoming sandwich shop, and every table is filled at the noon hour. As Jean says, this is a true family establishment. So congratulations, although you're not here.
Next, we have Jet Stop, and Wendy Marmion will be accepting the award tonight on their behalf. In 2006, Jet Stop received a total exterior makeover. A new digital price sign was added, as well as a new signage on the front of the building. New facing was put on the building, canopies, and pumps. The old landscaping was removed and new cement was poured to allow for additional parking. Congratulations.
And our next recipient is Performance Pipe, and Diane Brandt and Greg Heger will come up to receive the award. Congratulations to Performance Pipe, who spent over $500,000 in plant improvements in 2006, using local companies to enhance their loading dock and property boundaries, preventing materials to escape from the property. Some of the new improvements include replacements to the railcar siding, which has been completely paved and curbed to catch even minor spills that might occur during resin sampling and unloading. Performance Pipe has also gone, and this is a big achievement, 2 years without an injury and more than 1 million man-hours worked without a lost time. So congratulations. And thank you very much for your attention to these environmental issues also.
Next is Pizza Ranch, and it'll be Carrie Simons. She'll come forward. The interior of the building was completely remodeled, and if you were ever in there, you know that's true. Everything from the floor to the ceiling was replaced. New handicap accessible restrooms were added, as well as new lighting, landscaping, and a new pole sign. The walls all received new pictures and wall decor, and the opening of Pizza Ranch also impacted the Fairfield community by providing over 50 new jobs and possibly 50 new pounds. Congratulations.
Our next recipient is Seven Roses Inn, and unfortunately, Connie and Bob Boyer are not with us this evening to accept this award. But I think we have some pictures. Now, Seven Roses Inn is the newest bed and breakfast in Fairfield. It's housed in a beautiful 20-room residential home located on the hill directly across from Chautauqua Park. Seven Roses Inn glows with beauty and is both elegant and cozy at the same time. After months of stripping wallpaper, replacing carpets, plastering walls, and repainting practically every room, a charming bed and breakfast emerged. Every bedroom has its own bath, no two rooms are alike, and every room is beautifully furnished with hand-selected furniture. The grounds are spacious and will lend beautifully to summer gardens. So congratulations.
Next is Snowy River Pottery, Gallery and Studio. I don't know if I've seen Lauren and Kathleen Skagen here. And no one's moving forward. Okay. Their studio opened for business on a First Friday's Art Walk, and they have a variety of handmade wheel-thrown pottery made by the owner and artist, Kathleen Skagen. Her style is unique, her glazes are her own creation, and she also offers classes. Snowy River Pottery gives the public a chance to play in the clay and express their artistic talents. New pieces are displayed just about weekly, and you can also custom order. She's made everything from a single mug to a backsplash to a complete dinner set. They also feature City of Fairfield mugs with the logo, and they've also offered visitors a chance to take a little piece of them when they leave. They now feature varied artwork by Elaine Duncan, precious stone and silver pendants from Dale Rep, and unique wool clothing from Ecuador. So be sure to visit them. They're located just north of the square near where Petit Paris is right now. So congratulations.
And now we have Sunnybrook Home Care Incorporated. And coming to receive the award is Harley Carter, Lois Hearn, and Ashley Irwin. Sunnybrook Home Care serves those individuals needing home health care in 9 counties throughout southeast Iowa. They employ 48 hard-working people, which is a 15% increase in jobs in this past year. And these folks greatly benefit and care for 101 patients. Is that right, Harley? The freshly painted sign, the new green awning, and freshly asphalted parking lot make for a welcoming sight on North Court Street. Congratulations.
And now the sweet spot. So Don and Donna and Doug and Mary Arnold would please come forward. We wanted to call it Don and Donna and Doug and Derry, but we thought we better not. They took over where the Coastal gas station was, and it was quite a renovation process and pretty fun for us in Fairfield to watch. They decided that the need for a family-friendly gathering spot close to the square would also help their dream of making an ice cream store come true. They demolished the Coastal station and in its place built the new 28 by 30 building and a 28 by 30 covered patio area. The Sweet Spot team created and developed the unique mixture for the delicious soft ice cream, which contains a greater percentage of butter fat, which is good to know, and less air than most soft serve shops. Top-of-the-line candies, toppings, and flavors make the Sweet Spot products incredibly good. You say it 3 times. The Sweet Spot's covered patio has 5 cozy, easy-access picnic tables and 2 benches, all made in Iowa of 100% recycled plastic. With plenty of parking, 2 walk-up windows, and a drive-through, your sweet tooth or caffeine craving can be satisfied quickly and easily, and we appreciate your being here.
Our next recipient is the Top of the Rock Grill, and Jerry Fisher, Paul Wheeler, and Jared Heilman are coming to receive the award. Tucked above the familiar Red Rock Tavern is one of Fairfield's nicest restaurants. The dining room itself is completely remodeled. 2 of the restaurant's most beautiful features are the original stained glass windows and the original tin ceiling that they took from the downstairs, carefully cleaned, and reinstalled upstairs. The delicious meals are freshly prepared in a brand new kitchen, which is housed in it's a 20 by 20 foot kitchen that was an addition that was put on the first floor. So we thank you for being here, and thank you for all of your hard work, for being open for lunch and for dinners and your wonderful meals.
And next we'll recognize Vivo Restaurant, and I'm going to kill this, but Swati and Vipal Gupta. So their entire restaurant was recarpeted and floors were redone. New furniture, kitchen equipment, and a whole new menu were added. All lighting fixtures were changed to create a softer ambience. New computer systems were installed to improve the quality of service. Crystal chandeliers and high-end silverware were added, and the faux painting on the walls was done by renowned artist Tim Murphy, and your food is awesome, so thank you.
And now we are going to continue on with the 2006 Community Improvement Awards. The first award is to the Carnegie Historical Museum. Now, the Carnegie Historical Museum, and Jean Lutke is going to come and receive the award, is the 5th oldest museum in the state and has been, and I didn't know this, in the same location on the 3rd floor of the old library building since the building was built in 1894. We have all taken our children to visit the extensive collection of Native American artifacts from the Southwest, the many pioneer, Civil War, and military items. The museum houses a new addition now, as of this year, the Earl Brown collection of drugstore and soda fountain paraphernalia and memorabilia. Other additions include an antique fire hose cart, World War II patriotic posters, and Pearson College exhibits. New mineral and gemstones have been added to its present collection, and right now new track lighting is also currently being installed. The new museum foundation, the Carnegie Museum Foundation, will work to enlarge the museum facilities and hire a museum director. So thank you very much for everything that you give to the community.
Next is our Fairfield Middle School tennis court project. And Fred McElway and Brad Rose. Brad's not here, is he? This project was started last June, and they needed to replace the 7 courts that were currently there, and add 8 new courts. It's divided into 4 sets of 2 courts with a concrete causeway in the middle for spectator seating. Musco lights have been installed on 4 of the courts to provide for night play. This facility should be a great asset for the school district and the community, providing opportunity for high school athletes, community tennis programs, and the recreational players. Thank you.
And now we have the Fairfield Municipal Airport. Receiving the award will be Bob Glocky, as well as Robert Lyons. I can't tell you what a huge achievement this is. The new runway that was completed in this past year is over 1 mile long and 100 feet wide. It's a runway that every community wants and every community clamors for, and this is the runway that we received. It was not an easy feat. The FAA has very strict regulations, and to get this runway was an amazing feat. Bob Glocky was an instrumental force and the driving force behind the new runway. A little bit of the history of the airport. Dick Lyons was one of the early pioneers of the Fairfield Airport, and he's the father of Robert and Roger Lyons. And these 2 men have maintained meticulous records. Every plane that could, for instance, every plane that could not land in Fairfield and had to land in Ottumwa was recorded by Robert and Roger. And then all of this information was presented to the FAA so they could see that we were very serious about having a runway. Bob Glocky is probably one of the most dedicated volunteers on the face of the planet. And the fact that we have this is just awesome, and you are all awesome, and thank you so much. And this runway means that bigger planes, not only bigger planes need a longer runway, but in bad weather, you need a longer runway. Is that right? So if it's foggy or bad weather, now the planes don't have to land in Ottumwa. They can come right to Fairfield. So thank you and congratulations.
Before I bring up our next recipient, I'd like to thank Julie Stevens for her PowerPoint presentation. It was funny, at our meeting the other day, she met with Rosie and I because she knew we were kind of nervous about getting up here, and we have so much to say. We had more to say than Jim Pedrick, which is kind of unheard of. But anyway, she said, well, don't worry, we're going to have a PowerPoint presentation, and so they won't even be listening to you. So, but thank you, it was very nice. I'm probably not going to do KRUU any justice, but they are the voice of Fairfield, and accepting on their behalf is James Moore and Roland Wells. Just Roland. He's used to these late hours because apparently he works 16 to 17 hours, all volunteer, correct? Absolutely. All right. And you're going to have to help me with this part, but I believe about 5 years ago you applied for?
The beatbox applied for the license.
They applied for the license. And there was like a 1 week window where they were given the opportunity to do this. So someone had the foresight to say, hey, maybe in the future we should have another radio station geared towards the community, and not that the other radio station isn't, but dig a hole here. Anyway, so what's amazing about that is that it was a 1 week window 5 years ago, and here they are today, up and running. I don't know if you've turned your station over to 100.1, but it's all volunteers. It's 70 weekly programs, and there's 100 show hosts. And they encourage creativity, dialogue, and community involvement. They have a diverse forum for music, creative expression, information, and entertainment. And just another example of just people stepping out and doing something awesome for Fairfield. So thank you.
And our last Community Achievement Award for 2006 is going to the Packwood Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department. And I believe Adrian Dickey is here to receive this award, or not? Yes, oh good. Now, this is such an awesome thing, really. The Packwood Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department worked together with the Library Board of Packwood and the Betterment Committee and built a new facility that houses not only the volunteer fire department, but the public library and the community center, providing a place for the young people to come and read the books, the older people to come to the community center, and the fire department. I just can't tell you how awesome I think this is. The whole community has benefited tremendously from this project. The volunteer fire department has taken on the financial burden. Neither the town of Packwood nor any other group is funding this building. It is solely being built and paid for by the Packwood Fire Department. The facility has benefited young, again, by the library, the older folks, for an opportunity for them to gather on a daily basis. And it is, to me, one of the most awesome community projects that I've heard of lately. So I want to congratulate you and wish you much luck.
How fast did we do that? That was awesome. So, Jim, I was thinking, along the lines of your Academy Awards thing, that we could let Tom tell his Irish twin joke and do to him what they did to Al Gore. Turn off the microphone. It's much better that way.
You just give the punchline.
Yeah. So now we'd like to introduce Dave Neff again. Because Bert Chanowski's not speaking this year, Jim and Dave Neff both got on the program twice. So Dave will be giving the Entrepreneur of the Year Award and the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame Award.
See, us short people can appreciate the benefit of having microphones like this. Okay, in the essence of keeping this in line before 10 o'clock, we're going to move through the year of 2006 pretty quickly as far as what the Fairfield Entrepreneurial Association did. Kicking off in January, Mark Freeman started a CEO roundtable that averaged 15 to 17 people. This is bringing the top people from each of the businesses, the larger 25 and above businesses, employees together, and a quarterly event has ensued on a regular basis. Fairfield Revitalization Loan, thanks to our banks here in the community, have stepped up and they've expanded their revitalization area through the entire cultural district as well as New Chicago, so we feel that's a great opportunity. Get your smaller communities booming. Alliant Utilities did a conference in February in Burlington, and two of our Fairfield companies, Radiance Dairy and Greencrete, were represented at that location. We also worked with Community Capital, Virtual Incubators, and Angel Investor Network. In May, we moved to a national conference that was held here in town, a Rural Entrepreneurial and Economic Gardening conference. 35 attendees were here. Jack Schultz, who is the top author of Boomtown USA, was here, and Chris Gibbons, who is from Littleton, Colorado, one of the most respected entrepreneurial communities in the country, were here and helped put this together along with our board and with Bert helping on this. It's co-sponsored by the Farm Foundation, Community Vitality Center at Iowa State University. We also put together a monthly Fairfield Investors Roundtable, and this was the ability to put businesses that needed capital together with investors. So as small businesses were ready to step up before they're ready to qualify to speak to the lenders in the community, they need to have some capital, and this way we're trying to connect these. So Mario, who was up with a chocolate factory, and Bert Chanowski were the ones that have put this together. Moving to October, we presented an exit planning seminar on October 19th. We discussed how to transition your business to family members or how to sell it for a lower price and receive more money because you don't take as many dollars in capital gains. We had some good speakers on that. The first Idea Bounce was held in October, supported by our FEA, and it helped revitalize startup businesses, revitalize businesses. You give a 5-minute pitch and you have 10 minutes to have response from seasoned business owners. November, National Rural Entrepreneurial Gathering, the local economy. We had 20 people from across the United States and Australia that were here. Some top people from the Northwest Area Foundation and Ed Pro News, Ed Morrison was here. And also a boot camp for foodpreneurs hosted 30 people. December, we received direct gifts, outright gifts and donations of $20,000 from challenge grants and other interested community businesses that donated to help start more new businesses in the Fairfield community. FEDA was able to match with a challenge grant, and this will provide an additional source of revenue for helping start up businesses. And Pat Doyle, the incoming FEDA president, has been in attendance at our meetings. In January, we sponsored a Great Places Gathering, and we did a Lincoln Leverage, having 40 people participate, with Luther Snow from Decorah being involved, and also a Tri-State Entrepreneurial Task Force. I think the biggest thing that we're doing this month, we've talked about it for a period of time, but there's an actual Silicon Valley Investor Fund being started. So local people and businesses can invest in a seed fund capital startup. If you invest, you get a 20% Iowa State tax credit toward your income tax 3 years into the program. This is a key piece to our Great Places initiative. Another Great Place puzzle, virtual incubator that's moving along. Bert had the opportunity to represent Fairfield and tell the story from Chico, California, where they had a Tri-County Economic Summit, to Springfield, Missouri, another workshop on creating communities, Canton, Missouri, creating entrepreneurial workshops, in Oregon, 2 different times in Oregon, May and July. September, was a panelist in New York City about international economic development and the creative entrepreneurial communities in Lansing, Michigan. We received another $5,000 from the Community Vitality Center, so In my easy math, that comes up to about $25,000 of new money that we can use for seed to get started with helping more businesses. Those board members that are here, if Alan Balmer, Bob Moore, Bert Chanowski, Dave Goodman, Ed Malloy, Ken Ross, Mark Freeman, Mario Van Dyke, Pat Doyle, Dietrich Detman, Julie Stevens, Nancy Green, and my. So. Now the fun part. Before I continue, I'd like to thank this group for their support, John, Board of Directors, for allowing me to take the time to give back to Fairfield and hopefully helping the growth of our community. Our honoree for the Entrepreneur of the Year Award grew up in a small southwest Iowa town of Griswold, and he graduated from Griswold High School. He attended Northwest Missouri State University in Maryville, and during that time, he and his wife had 2 daughters, born a year apart, Christine and Kara, and later on a son named Eli joined the family. After he graduated, he took the next step. He wanted to continue his education. In 1975, he completed his master's in the field of social work. Traveled throughout Iowa his entire career. His first stop was Primgar, Iowa, and talking with his daughter, I understand that last year they had a graduating class of 3 in Primgar. Moved on to Washington, Iowa, and Mount Pleasant, and in Mount Pleasant he became Director of Social Services in that community. Later he went to work for Fairfield Livestock Company, and they were opening a new plant in Clarinda, Iowa, and for 7 years he managed that facility until the mid-'80s. In '84, they moved back to Fairfield to assist with a new plant that was being built right here in the Fairfield Industrial Park. Fairfield Livestock unfortunately closed shortly after they returned to Fairfield. So after having great opportunities, he ended up working various jobs, including help grow tomatoes and do some other things. But at that point, they decided maybe there's another opportunity for us. In his spare time, he would work out running, and he stepped up quite a bit in marathons, but also helping sponsoring ultras, 50-mile runs here in Jefferson County Park. He likes to travel in his spare time. In fact, he's in France right now visiting his other daughter. And from my understanding, they were actually doing some skiing there this afternoon. They could probably stayed here and done the same. Our honoree was the founder of ResCare Incorporated. He was founded in 1987 by John Schuetze and then partner Harvey Hensley in order to take over operations of the county care facility in Jefferson County. The company was named ResCare as an abbreviation of residential care. And soon they took over the operation of the Wapello County facility also. In the beginning, they had 34 employees and provided care at these services. Throughout the company, they went on to operate 6 care facilities in southern and southeast Iowa. The focus of the business became community-based services in 1988. ResCare became involved in providing affordable housing and offering support services in Jefferson, Wapello, and Washington counties later that year. And now they employ over 600 people statewide, offer a variety of health care and human services in 18 different counties. In '95, John expanded the ownership of the company to include employee stockholders. In 1994, Harvey Hensley, his partner, retired, and so John took the reins as far as chief executive and chairman of the board. He continued on with various services, including disability support to individuals, serious mental illness, mental retardation, or developmental disabilities in living. As they continue to grow, he decided maybe it's grown large enough for him, and it was time to move on. At the end of this past year, John retired from full-time service, but he will continue on as the company's chairman. Majority ownership was transferred to Rod Hotek, who's CEO, and Bill Dodds, who's president, at the beginning of this year. Both men have great experience and knowledge in the health and human services field. Over 25 years, John Schuetze has served as a mentor and inspiration for many within ResCare and other programs throughout the state. Made a positive difference in the many lives of people he's touched in the Fairfield community. Since he is over in France enjoying the wine and fine food and good powder, Rod, Bill, if you're here, would you please come up and accept on behalf of John Schuetze? My voice is running out, so I've asked one of my colleagues to come and finish out with our Hall of Fame presentation. If you would welcome Bert Chanowski.
I've been asked to keep my remarks under an hour, so I'll start quickly. It's a real pleasure to give this award. I get the pleasure of going out and speaking a lot and telling about the Fairfield story, and a lot of people ask me, well, what was the real creative spark or the entrepreneurial spark in Fairfield? What happened, and how did it happen? And it's the stories of the great entrepreneurs of Fairfield for the last 150 years that's been, I think, is really inspiring. This year's recipient of the Hall of Fame, or inductee, I should say, into the Fairfield Hall of Fame, is really a number of people. It starts with W.H. George, R.D. Hunt, and L.V. Gaines. They were part of an entrepreneur relocation program that took place 95 years ago in Fairfield when they brought the Dexter Company here to Fairfield. And the Dexter Company, I should say something about Dexter. Dexter was already part of a different Hall of Fame. If you notice the logo of Dexter, and possibly you don't, but there's a big horse that's part of their logo, and because the company was named after Dexter the horse. And Dexter, in its day in the 1860s, was kind of like Seabiscuit or Secretariat. It was a household name. In fact, Dexter moved from the city of, or the town of Dexter, Iowa, which is about 30 miles west of Des Moines. But, when you think of racehorses, you think of kind of the lineage and what they sire. And in fact, R.D. Hunt there's a number of the Hunts here in Fairfield that have ended up starting Falco and Fairfield Line, the Stever Company, or the Stever House, I should say, and the Dream Motel. So quite a few businesses have come as a result of that entrepreneur relocation program. This award also should be shared by really all the employees of Dexter, because in 1987, the ownership of the company was really taken over by the employees in terms of an employee stock option ownership program. And what's interesting in Iowa today, and certainly it's a demise for Iowa, the closing of the Maytag company in Iowa, but actually Dexter started many years before Maytag, and I'm sure now we'll see that it'll last much longer. And what's powerful about this ownership, it brings local ownership to this business. It really creates a lot of stability. And I think, if you look at the strength and success of Fairfield businesses, it's really the most successful companies are locally owned, have that kind of root and stability here. And I'm sure if the Maytag employees or the people in Newton had thought that they could own their own company and did, Maytag would still be in business. So it's really my great honor, great pleasure to make this induct Dexter. It's 750 employees, and certainly its founders, R.D. Hunt, L.V. Gaines, and W.H. George, into the Fairfield Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. Congratulations. And I know Pat Albrecht's out of town. I'm not sure if there's somebody here from, if you're a current, former employee of Dexter, please come up and receive this award. Or if you know somebody who's an employee. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving down to the end here, but the grand finale is coming up. I know you may be getting concerned about what's going on outside, and I do have a report that the sun is about to come up. So now to present the big award of the night, the Outstanding Citizens Award, Elodie Sellers and Mark Schaefer, last year's recipients.
Tonight is my privilege to honor a lady who is absolute expert in one difficult and vital field, community involvement. She has got an involvement down to a fine science, and because of it, we all benefit. Our honoree enjoys traveling, puzzle books, flowers, and gardening. If you're looking for someone to serve on a committee or take a non-paying job, this lady is an easy mark. If she ever said no, there'd be no record of it. There are some people in this community who actually feel sorry for her, and it makes them tired watching her operate. She works hard for her city, her hospital, her church, her family, and a good number of organizations. Fortunately for all of us, words like burnout and overextension are not in her vocabulary. This lady is homegrown in Jefferson County area and graduated from the Packwood High School in the class of 1951. At her church, she serves on the worship committee and is chair of the memorial committee and has a vice president of the Women's Association. There is no church menu or meal, funeral, or otherwise that is not find her involved recruiting, cooking, serving, cleaning up, following after this activity. She has her grown daughter who is deeply involved in scouting as she has during her youth. She started in 1972 and assisted with the Brownie Junior Cadet and was a senior leader for over 12 years. She was a cookie chairman for 10 years and is currently a lifetime member of the Girl Scouts of America. The American Cancer Society has her mark on their programs over the past 35 years as she assisted with the daffodil sales for 10 years, the Relay for Life, as registration chair and co-chair of the entire event for the last 4-year period. Hospice was first introduced in Jefferson County in 1987 and you guessed it, she was the founding member. She also was one to take on the first patient 2 years later. She has been on the board of various committees throughout all the years, currently serves on the Mount Pleasant Service Area Advisory Board of the Hospice of Central Iowa. There are numerous week-long hospice education seminars, and she's always there registering, participating, and supporting the other volunteers. She has earned a Lifetime Member Award in the Jefferson County Hospital Auxiliary. This involvement began in 1993, and she has been involved with the gift shop, information desk as needed, and currently serves on the education chairman. She has been present for every single program since the beginning of the auxiliary. The Fairfield Women's Club is proud to call her a member, as she has served close to 15 years and has been a chair of the bake sale, Christmas sale, and the spring trash and treasure sale. There is always a new challenge that needs her attention, so recently she became involved in the Fairfield Senior Citizen Site Board of Directors and has helped with numerous fundraising events. Recognition by one's peers on the regional and state level is always one of the most memorable occasions for any volunteer, and needless to say, our honoree has received such recognition for her service. In 1995, she received the Iowa Hospice Organization Volunteer of the Year. In 1997, she received the Barb Powell Girl Scout Award, and the crowning glory, and that many volunteers aspire to was in 1996, she was inducted in the Volunteer Hall of Fame at the State Fair by Governor Branstad. Her husband, Orville, gives her full support, as well as her daughter, Nanette, and stepson, Russell. In case you haven't figured out who we're talking about, would Aletha Conger please come to the podium and receive recognized for all her efforts to make Fairfield a greater place to live.
Thank you. This is quite an honor. I was led to believe this was going to be for my daughter. And I didn't realize it until just a few minutes ago. But thank you.
Good evening. The person I'm about to introduce as Fairfield Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year is a master facilitator whose networking skills bring together a wide variety of community, regional, state, even national organizations and individuals. It's a dizzying mix of private citizens, industrialists, city councils, county boards, and regional planners. A fascinating cross-section of our community has felt the gracious sway of this dynamo of passionate practicality and persuasion. Here's a sampling of the types of folks whose lives have been touched and sometimes orchestrated by this gentle yet persistent, ever tenacious visionary. The Hospital Board, Boy Scouts, the National Guard, Fairfield City Council, Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, Farmers Market, Jefferson County Conservation Board, Fairfield High School students, the Civic Center Board, Jefferson County Historic Preservation Commission, Fairfield Art Association, Maharishi University, Fairfield Economic Development Association, Fairfield Parks and Recreation Department, Iowa Great Places Initiative, MSAE students, Department of Transportation, Abundance Eco Village, Jefferson County Historical Society, the Fire and Police Departments, First Friday's Art Walk, Soil and Water Conservation District, city and county attorneys, and of course, we can't forget the Chamber of Commerce. And this is just the stuff I know about. I'm pretty sure we can dig up a few more pieces to this puzzle of public spiritedness. This person is candid with an opinion, yet diplomatic. He's energetic, yet mellow. Flexible, yet thoroughly well organized. Forceful, yet soft-spoken. Open to creative ideas, yet down to earth. A practical sort of visionary. Kind and affirming to one and all, yet unwavering in the pursuit of worthy goals. This congenial personality is a role model for anyone who wishes to have a part in making the world a better place. We speak of a consensus builder who identifies, then recruits the players needed for a project to succeed. This individual has an unrivaled sense of discernment with regard to the inherent strengths of fellow citizens. An intuitive understanding of human nature ensures that delegated tasks will get done and done well. This person is a bridge builder who facilitates the interaction of all members of the Fairfield community. Speaking of bridges, if you've ever enjoyed a stroll along the Zillman Bridge in Lamson Woods, or the Cedar Creek Bridge, or the Chautauqua Park Bridge, or any of the others on the Jefferson County Loop Trail, you have benefited from the selfless dedication of tonight's honoree. This man has been an active part of the Jefferson County Trails Council since it was formed in 1997. He has served as its chairman since the year 2000. Today, with his outstanding leadership and fundraising capabilities, our recreational trail system would probably be more dream than reality. Under his inspired leadership, anyone can visit our community at www.jeffersoncountytrails.org. This web address hosts the city bike walk route, a water trail, and the heritage trail. Prominent in this mix is a project near to my heart, the Masden Barns. Restoration and development of this site is just one example of the marvelous variety of natural and man-made settings embraced by the Jefferson County Recreational Trail System. Our Citizen of the Year's skill as a fundraiser has garnered over $3 million in grants and pledges for recreational trail enhancement. Among these are the FEDA Industrial Site Watershed Protection Project and a projected wetland adjoining the new hospital grounds. A National Endowment for the Humanities grant benefited my students by enabling them to create public art. This took the form of painted ceramic tiles which line the BNSF bridge. What a first-rate creative and educational opportunity this was for these young people. FHS students, art students, at his behest, are about to begin work on designing signage for trail routes within the city limits. Just this week at Monday Night City, this was after I had the speech all written, I found this out. So you know how that goes. Anyway, just this week at Monday Night City Council meeting, our honoree announced new grant funding in the amount of $106,000. This is state and federal safeways, trailways, hiking paths, and bikeways money, which will mark safe routes for children on their way to and from school. I am personally and professionally indebted to someone who's probably figured out by now, there he is, who I've been talking about. With the brilliant, his favorite adjective, the brilliant yet unassuming Mr. Ron Blair, please step forward to accept his accolade. Before I give Ron the microphone, I need to cross this off. This was totally fake. This is just so you wouldn't get thrown off, but, you know, that's that. And also, is it true that you were a bat boy for the San Francisco Giants?
No.
I'm devastated. Oh, well, anyway, here's Ron Blair.
Thank you very, very much. I'm very humbled, and I'm very grateful, and I've been involved with building some great bridges, but I think that building bridges with the Fairfield community is maybe my highest achievement. Thank you.
Now, I didn't see what he crossed off, but does that mean you don't have anything to say about the trails, Julie? Okay. Well, is it safe to say that you can get your blue cards out of your pockets now? Have we held them here long enough that we'll...
Julie should draw.
Okay, get your 50-50 tickets out.
I'm drawing. I'm going to draw mine. Hey, I got
Who? Oh, Susan Kessel, you're supposed to be the drawer. Usually they have little kids and she's not too big.
That'll get her up here.
Where is she? Is she here? I saw Pat. There she is. Come. $490. So the winning ticket gets $245. Wow. I hope it's mine. Be the first time I got anything for doing this job.
Oh, you have our thanks.
Undying response.
Oh, yeah, don't go that far.
Okay. Drum roll, please. There, now, after I was trying to catch that thing all night, and then I pulled it off. Now, let's see. Keep this coupon, that'd be mine. That wouldn't be very nice. And the winning ticket, 474-367. Boy, that was pretty close to the front of the line. 474-367, if you're still here. Right here at the front table. And if the bank would like to add to their sponsorship, that'd be okay. Well, now this says closing comments, and that's been the thing we've been waiting for all night long. I want to say thank you to these banquet sponsors that are at the tables, or not at the tables up front. First National Bank, Hy-Vee Food and Drug Store, Ideal Concrete Ready Mix, Iowa State Bank and Trust, Iowa Trophy and Apparel, Libertyville Savings Bank in absentia, and Midwest One Bank. So we thank our banquet sponsors. Now, and I think we still need the award recipients to come up front. Julie is here to take pictures, so don't run out if you received an award. Anything further? Going once, going twice. Give yourselves a big hand, stand up.